you're an E, you're an L, you're an F. Remember, you're all small triangles, majority of you. So that means you can't be labeling people. That's not cool anyhow. You know, don't be judging people. Well, you're that, so I need to do that. But it's just an awareness of where you fall. And so let's start here with just looking at everything. What are some of the differences that you find in these three areas, just by visually looking at them? So
I think it's hilarious because financially, they all go the same color, they all go
Isn't everybody hear that?
very, and then admissions is like all colorful.
We're creative. We're the creative.
I think it's very appropriate.
Yeah, it is. And the registrar used some pens, but it is. It's like, okay, we're doing linear thinking. That's left brain. Admissions, a little bit right brain. Yeah, there you go. Oh, gosh. Hey, you said that yourself. All right. Any other observations before I get to describing?
Yeah, fewer E's.
Fewer E's.
There's a blank.
There's one little name in there.
Oh, there's one. Janine. Oh, Janine. Patient Polly. There you go. There you go. So there's one there. There's two. Lauren and Barb over here in E. And we have two over here in E, Barb and Bob. Okay, so let me tell you what this is. Now, if you're falling within the S quadrant, you are social. You just love people. You just love being in the spotlight. You love just being assertive and fun-loving. And you're very competitive. You are also a change junkie. You love change. Let's make it fun and exciting. Let's change it up. So inspiring, you're open, direct, outgoing. Those are some of those attributes. Those are those good qualities. And we're going to stay focused on those good qualities as we move over to E. For those who are E, they're very practical, orderly, very direct, self-determined, organized, goal-oriented, dependable, and ambitious. Okay? And you'll see that this directive, that means the high need to direct. They could take it or leave it down here. This is affiliative. I love people. Yeah, I could do with or without. Okay? Because there are lots of professions out there that don't require you to be working around a lot of people. So in this quadrant, you might have those project manager types, that like to say, okay, who's on first, who's on second, who's on third, and who's going to do it by when. That's these type of folks. These folks are saying, I have the greatest idea ever, and we so need to do it, and then after that, let's do this and that. We can go to the world. We can, which is great. These are those big idea thinkers. There's those big ideas. So L's, they love keeping peace in the family. They're not big fans of conflict. They're team-oriented. They're the ones that says, I can do it. I have 50 things on my plate, but sure I can help you. So it's helpful, trusting, sensitive. They're the ones that say, how was your weekend, Dana? Oh my gosh, how's the grandkids? Oh, the new house, how's it going? It's probably not so new anymore, is it? It's like those kind of things. And Dana might be like, yeah, a little bit too much for me right now. So. Not to worry. But those L's, they really want to get to know about your family, and all about your brother twice removed. So if you come into the F quadrant are the ones that are exacting. They're thorough. They're factual. They're reserved. They're calm. They have very high standards, and they don't like a lot of change. They want to know why, when, how, and who thought this crazy idea through. Because they're saying, really? Have you and sometimes they get a bad rep because they're really trying to keep you from falling on your face. So again, it's all how you reframe all of these personalities, because these personalities are all great in their goodness. Let's go to not so happy place. We don't have limitations. Guess what? All these people, they think they're super fabulous. So, yeah, Marsha's like, let me write that down. You'll get that's what makes it good and that's what makes it bad, right? If we're all around S's, what would happen if we had a group of all S's and nobody else's? It'd be one big old party and we might not get our class, or whatever it is. The verifications might just not be priority, or whatever. But that's where it's really the blend of the team. So they can be seen as pushy, intimidating, overbearing, impatient, manipulative, abrasive, reactive, and domineering. I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, the F's, because I'm a little bit of an S. I'm just saying. But I'll tell you, those that are F's, I've been so blessed in my life for them to tell me that, you know what, that's what I'm thinking about you right now. Earlier in my career, I'm like, man, I really need a shift. So believe me, you do get more B's with honey. So you look at how you can do it, because at the end of the day, what are we doing? We're serving students and parents. And one another too, right? Because a lot of times the things I do depend on you, that depend on you, that depend on you, that goes up to the whatever. All is connected. We're all connected. So those S's can be seen that way. The E's, stubborn, rigid, unapproachable, distant, insensitive. Because you know what? They just want the job done. I don't need the details. And that's another mistake for those S's, because we have lots of S's. Stop using so many words. That's one I had to work on. And I know I'm not modeling it right now. But the E's that is what comes with those. The L's. We go down to the L's. Those are the team. Yes. See, Bob is playing well into his dominant personality. But the L's, they're too others oriented. They want to please others. They don't want to let them down. They want to help them. But they can be indecisive. Oh, if I say that, oh, what would so-and-so do? So they overthink sometimes things. They're hesitant and they're a little bit more subjective. If it's gray, it's a little bit of a challenge. They like to see that, okay, black and white, okay, that's good, I'll go. So there you go. So in the F's, down here, the ones that are not typically big fans of S's, not typically, but they are sometimes slow to get things done. So often when I dealt with F's, I'm like, oh my gosh, you didn't give me an F. Who's an F? Who's an F? We have lots of F's. Okay, so let's just take Gail for example. You know what? If I were an S, I went to you with an idea and you didn't say yes or no, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not going to say yes to me. She just said no. She didn't say anything. But all of a sudden, I think as an S that I need to get an answer right away. She's just thinking. She's just processing it. She's thinking through things. So and perfectionistic, so she wants it done, or they want it done exactly how it is. And slow to get things done, I don't necessarily like that per se, but sometimes it's just they're just thinking. They're thinking because they want to make sure that everyone else thought through it. So what's fabulous about seeing this is how can you use this as a team? How can you use this as a team? You know kind of where you fall. How can you use this as a team? Tell me.
Well, when one person is hyperactive, one person who is not could calm the other person. So you got to kind of interact there. You have way too many hyperactive people.
Yeah. So our strengths is in our differences of our communication styles. What else? What else could it be? How about when you're working on projects? So often we say, okay, who kind of has a little bit of time? That's usually the first thing people think of. It's like, well, maybe we should be stepping back and saying, who might actually be, best suited for whatever project it is? So thinking about it that way. What else? How else can you use this? How about triggers? How many of you have things inside that kind of trigger you? For example, If you don't give me an answer right away, that might have been a trigger in the past. I'm like, why can't they just make a decision? You know, but I need to step back and be like, you know what? He or she's really thinking about the right solution for this. I need to give him or her time to think that through. You know, so it's stopping where we are and looking outside ourselves and understanding where they're coming from and asking questions. Asking questions. If you're small triangles, you have lots of small triangles here. You also have lots of, and I'll give you all this stuff so you can see it and process it again. But with that comes, you know what? You don't necessarily know where they are in that communication style. Now you've been given a whole kind of capacity. Are you feeling S, E, L, F? Oh, you know, your S? Okay. I have probably an F kind of thing. You know, so I'll come back. When are you going to be in that? You know, but it is. But that's a sign, though, that you're respecting them. Well, you're really respecting that individual. Because at the end of the day, they want to be in the right frame of mind, and you want them to be in the right frame of mind for whatever it is that you're trying to get done. That's the bottom line. So, that's the end of the self. However, I want you to do one last thing, and I'm going to give you your board back. We just looked at all of you individually. Everyone as a department has a brand. What is a brand? Kind of what you're known by, right? And I apologize, before we switch into that, we didn't have the really fun part of it all. Guess who your boss is? Where did your bosses fall? So, I want you to really write down, for those who have pens, so keep in your mind, or think in your mind, you know, those who are in registrar, who's Joe? You know, those who are in missions, where might Marcia fall? You know, the size of the triangle and the quadrant. Dana. Where might Dana fall in that? Okay, so get it in your head, and then I'm going to ask them to share. Okay?